the CV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate your time on this broadcast this hour. It is a great time and it's a lovely time. And I'm so excited to be back on this station this hour, this weekend. This is Africa on Camera. This is where we promote African ideology. This is where we promote African culture. And this is where we promote the gifts that God gave to Africa. And we are here live and direct with one of our very own, all the way from South Africa, all the way from the sunny city, Victoria. She's live and direct. We are in the same city, and we are broadcasting live from Afromedia Canada and also from the African Portal Radio TV International from here in Victoria, South Africa. I welcome every one of you, no matter the country you reside, no matter where you are. I greet you according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. Welcome to this beautiful time on the African Portal Radio TV International. Let me take this time to welcome one of the great leaders of our time, one of the great women doing so well. I love the attire and I love the, the setup is so superb. You represent, you look exactly like Africa. Yes, the topic today is woman in leadership, and that is what the conversation is going to be all about. Allow me to welcome this great woman to introduce herself. Sibia, kindly introduce yourself to the listeners at home, who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in the society.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. OLUSAN. My name is Rebecca Sibia. As you've said, I am a leadership and communications coach. I'm a founder of Extraordinary Ripples, which is a company that is doing consulting, leadership consulting to be specific, as well as coaching. We cultivate self-leadership in women especially, but men are welcome as well. I'm also a co-founder of Heartfelt Effects, a wellness-focused company that is specifically for women in leadership. And I must say, on the 19th, which is Tuesday, we will be having our goal-setting webinar that is free. You are welcome to go to our social media platforms and register there. I'm also a member of Coaches and Mentors of South Africa, and I recently started with Take Action, a ministry in South Africa as an operations manager, whereby we are helping our orphans and vulnerable kids to have a better life. And I think being in the ministry as well for the past 16 years has helped me to move into position with wisdom and also with excitement. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That's a lovely one. I'm so excited about this, and it's so coincident and it's the right time. This coming Tuesday is going to be a great time. We're going to give you more information about the webinar, and I'm going to give you more information on how you can connect. All right, give me opportunity to quickly put on so that I can be able to pick up some of the noise on the other side of the studio. I think I'm comfortable now. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. I really appreciate it. Okay, man, let's quickly go to the business of the day, because it's important that we use the time very, very well. You are one of the great women of our society, doing so well, and also leading in every aspect that contain society development, our country, moving the country forward, attending to the issue of family, and at the same time, you also concentrate on how to help our kids to let them see the leadership, especially the female kids, to see the female role as one of the important things that we need in Africa. What is the ratio like in Africa when we are talking about the women in leadership? Is this something that is growing, or can we say that we are still struggling with this in Africa?
I don't think that I will even go to the percentage, but what I can say is that in Africa, we are still struggling to put women in leadership, and there are different contexts and are different reasons maybe that are actually making us to go slow on letting women to lead. However, I want to say, as women, we are ready. If you have women in leadership, then it means that you will have more collaboration with other people. And remember, as women, if you understand yourself as a woman and if you are matured, you also understand how you feel. And if you're comparing women in leadership as well as men, we are talking about different traits that are used. As a woman, I would be able to look at an individual holistically. But for a man, mostly it will be about, the goals. It will be about, doing the work rather than looking at other aspects of an individual. So we definitely need women in leadership in Africa.
Okay, so what makes it so difficult in Africa to put women in the in the front role? What do you think is the problem? Let's look at it that way.
I think there are many challenges that we are facing. One, if we are looking at sexual harassment, if we are looking at hostile environments that we go into in terms of our work environments, if you're looking at lower pay scales between men and women. As a woman, I can be working the same, I can have the same education, be working, the same role as a man, but you find that my pay is lesser than a man. Also having the balance of likability as well as respect. Sometimes you find that as women, we want to be liked more than be respected. And I would say this, for instance, if I'm an assertive as a woman, I will be called names. But if a man is assertive, that is allowed. That is called leadership. So there are many, many aspects that are making sure that we don't progress the way we are supposed to be progressing.
I like what you say, and I just want to quickly give some example because a lot of people will be joining us. This is Africa on Camera, and this conversation is going to cut across the whole Africa. In recent time, we have one of the great women in our continent that is former president of a country in Africa. That is Joseph Ellen. And we have so many women we can mention, like Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and a lot of them like that. We can mention their names. But can we say that we are still struggling in Africa? By the time we are mentioning 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people that have been in the leadership role and have been in a very important post in Africa, can we still say that Africa is still struggling with this?
And yeah, we are definitely struggling with this because if you look also at us as a community, how we put men and women, even in our meetings in a community, you'll find that in other cultures in Africa, men and women are supposed to be sitting in different spaces, or women sometimes are not even allowed to speak in certain circumstances. Hence, that is also creating those differences. There are so many things that are actually affecting that, the community, the system as well. Also, if you look at religion, religion sometimes it requires a men to be the head, but as a society, we do not understand the context in terms of that, and we let men, yes, to lead, but also we leave the women behind in the name of religion because we are not explaining it or understanding it or even contextualizing the way it's supposed to.
So can we say now that one of the challenges that we are facing is that the culture is not really giving women chance to lead, and also the religion is not also giving women chance to lead. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, culture, yes, definitely culture and religion play a role in women not being in leadership. However, we cannot give that as an excuse. As a community, as Africa, we need to do better, meaning that we need to look at our religion, what it means, because sometimes the way we explain it, that's not how it is, even in terms of religion. And also in terms of culture, things have changed. We are not in the times whereby men only go to work while women are staying behind to take care of the kids and also to maybe take care of things at home. As women, we are also working. So as women, if we are working and men are going to work, what is the transformation that is needed for women to be in leadership? What are the engagements that we need to have to allow women to be themselves? And also, if you look at situation now whereby most especially during COVID, when we are working from home, I mean, most women would struggle with, I need to take care of the kids, but still I need to be on online platform to be able to be at work. And sometimes at work, they don't even allow you to have, kids speaking on the background because you need to look, professional or do things in a professional. So I'm thinking that in terms of how we even look at professional, we need to actually relook at that and reword that as
Hmm.
well.
All right. I like what you say, but let's quickly look at the reality that surrounded women. Let's look at the issue of giving birth. Let's look at issue of the having pregnancy and stuff like that. Don't you see that as one of the challenges as well that is still keeping women behind the row?
I'm not so sure if I understand in terms of, women being pregnant, having to be discriminated against. Being pregnant is part of human nature. And being pregnant, it involves a man and a woman, if I can put it that way. I don't even want to go to the context of, other things that are involved, but it involves the male and the female. And being pregnant is not being sick. Yes, there are sometimes complications, but being pregnant, it means that you can still continue with your work. However, in a workspace, if it means that you are working whereby there are chemicals or you are working whereby it can be dangerous for you when you are pregnant, your employer should make efforts to ensure that you are still taken care of when you are pregnant. I mean, if you look in the workplace as well, there are companies, especially if you look at small companies to medium, that would not even pay women when they are pregnant because they cannot afford that. However, with other companies, they will be able to pay women when they are when they are on maternity leave. However, it is a certain percentage. So if you look at other countries in terms of how they've grown, even when you look at the maternity leave, the period of maternity leave, if you look at paternity as well, meaning that we need to look at family as also part of being integrated to the workplace. Because if I come before you, I'm a family woman. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a sister. And I'm a friend. I'm other role. I'm other role player in the society. So me, before being professional, it means that I have another life. But pregnancy should not be part of what is making our country not to progress in terms of putting women in leadership. Because if you think about it, many women are mentoring other young people, whether informally or not formally. Informally or formally, we are mentoring other people. And for me, one of my passions is mentoring young women because confidence also becomes a challenge, whether it's
Mm,
in the
mm.
workspace or whether it's in other spaces. Because as you lead, you need also those people that can tell you that, this is how it's being done, but also coaching to say, you know what, you can do it. It is tough today, but tomorrow it is another day. And while I'm speaking of that, I am reminded all the time that when I have fear when I'm leading, I am reminded of Marianne Williamson's poem that says our deepest fear, that our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Wow, wow. I enjoy what you are saying, and that is why your organization is there to keep the balance. And let me go into your organization before we go into the issue that is happening in our society, which is the gender-based problem that you are facing currently in our generation. It's rampant and it's a serious problem that needs quick attention. Let us look at your organization. Tell us a bit about it and what you are doing and what people need to know about your organization.
My organization is a coaching practice as well as the leadership consultancy. The leadership consultancy, it includes doing human resource management activities whereby we are taking care of people, because normally employee-employer relationship, it is not straightforward, and I help business owners and entrepreneurs to make sure that as much as there can be conflict, but conflict is handled in a proper way, and also making sure that we don't encourage people going to report, in the South African context, to say to CCMA, but we are able to mediate and arbitrate before we even go further. And in my organization as well, I take women from where they are to the next level of their lives. And I start that with, who are you? Most of us as women, when you ask who are you, it will be, Rebecca, I will tell you about the things that I'm doing, but I wouldn't be able to tell you what exactly I'm created for. So knowing your purpose is very important, and that is what I do in my organization. So I'll tell you for free that I am a ripple creator, meaning that I touch people's hearts, and that is what I do. I do that in different ways. And for the other organization that I told you about, Joshua, the Heartfelt Effects, that's where really we are focusing on women. We also have as much as I'm a coach, but also we realize that there are women who also just want time to be listened to. You don't even have to give an advice, but you give them the space to be themselves. You give them the space to also understand that they're in different seasons as well. So we listen to them. It's an hour session. We don't call it a coaching session. We've got a different name for that, whereby we also help them to make sure that they take their businesses to a different level. We have different activities such as hiking. We go and hike with women, and then we network as well. And one of the things that I said is the webinar that we are having for goal setting, because sometimes we feel empty thinking that we have not achieved our goals, but because we don't measure and track our goals, you'll find that we did most of what we said we were doing, but because we're not tracking, we are unable to know where we are in terms of our lives. And just to add, I'm also part of the Toastmasters International, whereby we assist individuals with leadership as well as communications. And there's a fee for that, but you grow as a person, and also you have the platform to, practice your communication skills. And just to add, in terms of the ministry that I told you about, that I am part of the Take Action Ministry. It is so interesting because we collaborate with different organizations that are helping in terms of kingdom transformation. Whether you are a leader, you will be able to assist us, whether you've got resources, you've got skills. That's what we need so that we can help our children to be in a better space, to be able to say we can also do this, but to be also to be in a position whereby they can fulfill their purpose and their calling.
Wow, wow, wow. Let's look at all this you mentioned now. Let's look at the one that is more very important to me, and that is the women, how to let them have their self-confidence. Because one of the things that the generation is using, or the society is using against women, is the fear, to let them know there's no way you cannot, You cannot. It's not possible. Everybody here is men. You cannot lead. You have to be behind. What are you doing in your organization to give women more courage or more confidence in themselves to be able to lead?
If you look at the African culture, I mean, I'll give you a simple example. I mean, I remember when I was starting in a workplace, when I would speak to my superior, I will always look down, because in terms of culture, that's how I would express respect for another human being or for an adult. But I quickly realized in the corporate space to say, no, if you're doing that, and they will look at you as if you are not being honest. So some of the things that we teach them in terms of confidence is to look at different cultures as well, because if you look at African culture and Western culture, they are different in some aspects. And in my organization, we look at self-image, we look at our self-esteem, we also look at self-worth, because in terms of self-worth, people can say a lot of things about you, but you are the one who tells you who you are in the world, what you can do. And that's also start with being aware of things that you need to work on, being aware of where you need to go to, and also believing in yourself. So confidence is a muscle that you need to, work on a daily basis. And it's simple things as well that you can do, things like positive self-talk, self-affirmation, talking to yourself positively, because as women, sometimes we are able to tell another woman, no, yes, you can do it, encouraging another woman. But when it comes to us, we are not taught how to encourage ourselves. So everything starts with us. And that is not being selfish. Taking care of yourself is not being selfish, it's being selfless, because you need to be giving for an overflowing cup.
All right, let's look at the time and this. You've been in this. How long have you been in this journey? And what are the things that keep you going? What are the challenges that you are facing as an organization, as an individual?
The leadership space, I have been in the leadership space for over 20 years in the public and the private sector. In terms of my organization, I started my organization in 2018, meaning that I was involved, full-time now in the organization. Before, I was doing things informally because I was an employee. But now, because I am an employer, things are different. In terms of what keeps me going, is my belief in God. I believe that I cannot do anything without God. So I believe in my faith, and I make sure that I infill myself every single day. Because if you take care of yourself spiritually, even when the knocks of life and different challenges and circumstances come your way on that particular day, you are able to look at them and say, I know who I am in God. And for me, that's what keeps me going. The other thing that keeps me going is because I know my calling, and I believe that if you know your calling, you are able to look at things differently. You are able to know that because that is your calling, it's not work. You don't even feel the effort of what you are doing. What also keeps me going is because I am a learner by heart and I am a learner by nature. So in every journey that I'm taking, whether personally, professionally, I learn through those circumstances, whether positive or negative. Even if circumstances are negative, I'll ask myself, what did I need to learn from the circumstances? What can I take forward and what can I implement? And I also learned that it is good to talk. We can talk so much. We can say we want to do things, but if we are not consistent in action, then we won't be able to succeed. So self-discipline is very important. So one of the things that I do practically now is blocking the time. There's time for me that I would say, okay, I'm not taking calls. I am not looking at social media because it also affects our confidence.
The social media also affects our confidence.
Yes.
Wow. Let's talk about that. That is very important, because a lot of women doesn't. I mean, they don't know that. And one of the things that's make me feel bad about this current generation is the way and manner women are showing themselves on social media. That also is a concern, and it's not something that's palatable, especially to some men. You know, seeing women being naked on the social media, having a pint on the social media, and doing all kind of funny things. I don't know why. I don't know where that is coming from. Is there anything that you are doing about this? And why do you say that social media also can be one of the two that can let people go astray, or for them to lose their confidence?
I think you see young people or young women especially showing themselves as commodities on social media, and that can be painful. But also, us matured ladies, how we project ourselves, how we show up, our presence on social media can be misleading. Because remember, on social media, majority of the time we show the good side of work, we show our successes, but we don't share the journey. So you see somebody who is a leader already, you see somebody who's achieved this and that, whether it's materially or otherwise, but you don't know the journey that they went through. You don't know the challenges that that particular person was faced with. And I think that maybe also in terms of mindset, we need to change how we portray ourselves on social media. I'm very particular in my social media how I post. I would post, yes, my experiences, but I would post challenges as well as, solutions. So that's how I would post. And I wouldn't encourage us also to post, as you were saying, our naked, bodies on social media, because what are we saying about ourselves as women? We need to be posting things that are encouraging other people. We need to be posting things that are empowering other people, and we need to be posting for engagement as well, because we need to be understanding that by our post we are mentoring other people that we are coming before. As they say, for us to be in certain spaces, I mean, even for me to be a leader, there have been giants that have been before me. So if we are giants as women now, what example are we setting for those that are coming after us?
Wow, wow, wow. I'm still going to engage you more about the social media, because the issue of social media is another thing that we need to take a day to discuss. It's a topic on its own, because it's one of the tools that as a matter of fact, this generation is not really getting what social media is all about. They don't get it right. A lot of people believe that social media is a space whereby you come, I mean, your job on social media is to just impress, tell people about the good side of yourself, and all this kind of a thing is not adding any value to other people on the other side. But that will be for another day. Let's talk about the issue of gender within our community and our society, especially among the youngsters. There are some certain things that I think we need to define them so that we can be able to understand them. What is your organization doing on this, and what are the roles that you are playing in the community to bring hands to this?
Yes, in the community, it's very important to set an example, and I will just take an example of the Take Action Ministry. Some of the projects that we are involved with in collaboration with Funda Nani Africa. It's an organization that we collaborate or partner with. We do programs such as entrepreneurship, telling the young ones to say it's not only boys, it's not only men who can be in business, but women also. But we don't do it in such a way that it's only girls that are involved. We involve both girls and women and boys and girls. But also we have a project that is involved with menstruation, for boys to understand the concept of that, for girls to also understand the concept, but for boys to also understand the concept of understanding girls, making sure that they understand between a girl who, because also, I mean, if you look at it, teenage pregnancy is a challenge in our communities, but then speaking
Exactly.
to both girls and boys about teenage pregnancy is helping them to understand that it's not something that they need to be in a rush for. And as a girl as well, if you involve yourself in in sexual intercourses before you are ready, the boy continues to go to school when your life is disturbed in some ways, because being a younger girl taking care of a child or a baby, that's not an easy thing. So those are the projects that we're involved in, to make sure that the community understands that girls need to take a different role. Girls need to lead as well, and also to just build confidence. That because in communities, for instance, if you see a girl that is very confident, there is an African concept, I think in Tswana or Soto, or I would say Pretoria language, they will say uya papa, meaning that you are forward. But we forget that in a different context, or if you're looking at a Western culture, if a child is confident like that, you are encouraged to be confident. You are encouraged to know yourself. You are encouraged to also speak up. So we need to look at things in a different way within our communities, and we need to encourage girl children. And I know that even in terms of corporates, they will have a project called "Take a Girl Child to Work." But also, when we are improving our girl children, we should not forget about our boy children, because then it means that we are taking care of girls. We are making sure that they are polished in their manner, in the way they see the world. But then we are forgetting that if they decided to be involved and get married to later in years to their boys, then it will be boys that are not polished. So there must be balance in terms of the projects that we are doing, or the initiatives that we are having in the communities. But we need, yes, to put girls first, because in terms of communities, we have actually forgotten about our girl children.
All right. I like what you said, because you mentioned two things now that is very important. That is for the girl's child that is involving in intercourse and gets pregnant early stage, and also to the boy's child that is looking down on the woman, not know how to handle woman when everything go wrong within the let's say they are now in relationship. The next thing is to look for a way to kill the lady. What are you doing regarding this to make sure that we eradicate it? Because it's something that we can eradicate within our community. It's something that we can completely take off within our community. So as your organization working towards making sure that the women, they are on the front row, what are you doing to remove this barrier or this problem within our community?
Okay, and I will tell you with two organizations that I work with, my own organization as well as one organization that we collaborated with. It's called One Hope, whereby they are making sure that God's word is out there. And One Hope is actually helping in terms of making sure that the children are catered for in terms of knowing themselves, in terms of knowing the word. And it's quite interesting that you would ask that, because yesterday we were in the community of Hammanskraal, far north. Is it far north of Pretoria? I think let me say 50 k's, from Pretoria. And we are looking at the program whereby one it's called Ultimate Goal, and then the other one is Unstoppable. The Unstoppable one was focusing on girls, and the Ultimate Goal was focusing on boys. So yes, understanding that they do have different journeys in terms of even their growth, being the teenagers, but there is somewhere that they meet. But then in terms of my organization, Extraordinary Ripples, I do communications, meaning that they debate this social issues to ensure that they come up with solutions with that. I also help in terms of confidence, whereby I would have an 8-week program to assist these young people to build themselves in terms of how they present themselves, and I normally look at grade 11s and grade 12s, because they will be going to the workspace before they actually know it, or they will be going to universities as well. So I focus on them as a target group, because then when they meet other young people coming from different contexts who are confident, that can make them to even be affected in terms of their academics. So I help them in terms of confidence in their communication.
Wow, thank you very much, and I'm so happy the way this conversation is going, because we take it from the beginning. And let's now go to the government parastatal. Let's go to the working space. Let's go to the marketplace. Let's go beyond the teenage, beyond the girls and boys. Let's go to the reality of the time now, because we are talking about the previous generation. That there are some system around us that already tell us that no, it's no, women can never lead in this place, and most especially in some churches. You realize that it's still there. There is no way you can come to the pulpit and lead this church, because the Bible already says that women, that we quote some verses in the Bible to back it up. Are you doing anything regarding that as your organization? Are you doing anything regarding that?
Currently, I am not doing much in terms of, the church space, but previously I used to do training in the church space, especially for leaders in the church. Leaders in the church. And you're so right when you're saying that in other churches, they don't actually allow women to be in the pulpit. But those times, I think they have passed, because if you allow women to be on the pulpit, or women to actually lead, remember that you are allowing them also to ensure that people understand themselves, because as women, we can afford to be emotional, and that would be allowed, but emotional in a good way. We can be allowed to also give other people the psychological support that they need. Whereas if you're looking at men, it becomes a bit different, or men, they don't come forward as well in terms of even speaking about their challenges. So my organization, in terms of working with the churches, it will be about assisting in terms of training the leaders to change their mindset in terms of how they look at women and men. And I think that's what we are doing currently. But that is a space that I actually need to look at, because if you're looking at culture and religion, that is a very interesting space. Very interesting space. But in the workspaces, I am there in the corporates.
No, the reason why I actually take you through that journey is because you remember that everything that is happening in the public space, starting from the church, starting from the religion, starting from the culture, and because we can't deal with some problem, we will be talking about some problem in working space, in the workspace, and we forgot that this problem is actually coming from where we are coming from our culture, from our religion, from our belief, from our value system and stuff like that. Now, as a woman in the in leadership space, have you ever been in a space whereby you've been maybe misled or mistreated by a man before?
Oh yes. Oh yes, I don't think that. I think in my thinking now, I don't think that there will be many women who would say that they have not been mistreated. Yes, I have been mistreated. Yes, by a man leader before, and not once, but a couple of times, or in different organization. And I think also that has actually taught me to be a leader that I am today, because I am an assertive leader. So if I don't like something, I will tell you upfront that I don't like it. However, if as a woman, if you project yourself in that way, as I said, you will be called names, or you will be called somebody who is instigating problems. But as I matured, I realized that I need to be myself in whatever conversation or in whatever engagement that I have in the workplace. I mean, in some of the previous workspaces whereby I was led by men, you will find that sometimes somebody is mistreated, not directly you, somebody is mistreated, and as an employee, you become the bystander, you keep quiet. I quickly learned that also by being quiet, it means that you are saying that is okay, but you'll never know when that is actually coming to you. So I have learned also in those mistreatment to say, even if you see things happening, not directly to you, you need to speak up. You need to speak up. That is one thing that I've learned. But also that we need to confront people in a way that we do not disrespect them, but in the way that they will respect us as human beings, as women as well. And I really believe that as women, we do have the power. We have the power to communicate. We have the power to let other people respect us. We have the power to let other people treat us the way we want to be treated. But also, I know that sometimes when you've got engagement with your friends or women leaders, you'll hear people saying that as women, if you are led by women, sometimes they put you down. So I would want to encourage us as women to have the pull up mindset, to say, if I'm up there, who else am I pulling up with me to be my support? And for me, that's how I actually lead.
And I like that I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because that is my next question. A lot of women are glamoring and calling to be leader. I want to be in the front line. We want to be the minister. I want to be the president and stuff like that. But we realize that women are the problem of themselves. Women don't seem to like themselves. And at the end of the day, there will be a lot of drama. There will be a lot of politics that will be happening. And through my research, I've realized that a lot of women told me that, no, I prefer men to lead. I don't want to be in any organization where women is the CEO or is the one in charge, because it's more tedious to work directly or to work under a leadership of a woman. So we got that a lot. But let's look at that. Are you doing anything in your own capacity to address this issue?
Yes, Joshua, it's quite interesting that you say that. I think when I was young, still learning, I used to say that I don't want a woman to lead me, but I want a man. And now I can tell you that that statement is no. I can't even imagine why would I actually think so. And it's interesting that you would say that you would want a man leader. Where women are involved, yes, there will be emotions. And as women, we need to now accept that those emotions are part of we are. We are human beings that can feel. We are human beings that can express ourselves. We are human beings that can be vulnerable. We are human beings that can cry. That should be part of who we are. That is being authentic to who you are. Being a woman leader doesn't mean that you need to remove your feminine side and be masculine. No, we don't have to. We just need to lead with wisdom. We need to lead with strength, and we need to lead with authenticity. But we should never ever be fakes of who we are. So for this statement, I would say women leaders are better because they can mentor, they can collaborate easily, they can engage easily. Women can be emotional, but also they provide psychological safety. For those that are still having a battle, in my opinion, and the research that I have read, is that because we are growing in a patriarchal society, they take some of the things that they learn and they go forward with. But as an organization, I'm helping women to find themselves. I'm helping women to lead differently. And that is through different processes, and it's through coaching. And with the Heartfelt Effects, we have that program that's called a sounding board. Women are listening to each other, and women also, if I can say, giving advice, yes, giving recommendations to say, this is a way that you can actually take.
Wow. Let's look at African economy today. Are you seeing women playing a very critical role in growing African economy? If yes, what are you doing to increase this? If no, how can we make sure that the women also involved in growing African economy?
I think as women, we can actually do better. But yes, I see women growing the economy. If you look at the numbers that are increasing in terms of women in agriculture, for instance, women in science, for instance, I think that we are definitely growing the economy. And if you look at also, I mean, I'll give you an example of, women who are selling, on our street corners, at the shopping malls as well. Those are women. They contribute to the economy. Those are the women that are taking their kids to universities. Not many men can actually do that. So we are contributing in our small and bigger portion, but we are definitely contributing to the economy. We just need the chance to be put in those positions to have the experience as well, so that we can actually grow the economy even much better. But then in terms of my organization, yes, we are doing coaching. And also we do have products that we are selling in terms of products that can help women. As women, sometimes we want to work, and we don't take care of ourselves. And it's also good to rest, because remember, if you do not rest, you are unable to give a better version of yourself. So yes, in terms of the hiking networks that we have, in terms of the trips that we also take with women, just to also relax and just know who we are as women. That is the contribution that I make.
Oh, wow. And that is very important, because a lot of women believe that, no, I'm also have this strength like men. I can walk like men. I can do like, I mean, working for 6 hours, 7 hours like men. But at the end of the day, you realize that some women collapse while they're at work and stuff like that. And I mean, it's a good thing that you are training and giving the balance on that. Let's quickly look at the issue that is surrounding the leadership. This is not, it has nothing to do with whether men or women. One of the problems we are facing in Africa currently is the leadership problem. That is one of the problems we are facing in Africa. What are you doing to build a good leadership among Africa that will be able to lead themselves? This has nothing to do with gender. This has everything to do with the position, with leadership, being in the front line. What are you doing to make sure that we have good quality leaders in our continent, Africa?
I create awareness in terms of leadership, because I believe that you cannot lead others if you are unable to lead yourself. So self-awareness is part of it. Because in Africa, if you look at it, our leaders, normally they want to be in positions for a very, very long time without even leaving their positions. So if you know yourself, if you are aware of yourself as the leader, you'll make sure that you even leave the position for other people to continue the good work that you have. I help leaders to also craft strategy, because when we craft strategy, it's not only for businesses, it's crafting strategy for you. If you don't know where you are going, you'll go anywhere that you are taken to. So as a leader, you need to know where you are going. Yes, we have what do you call it? Key performance areas or key performance indicators in the business context. But what are your personal indicators that you are having for your own life? So as leaders, I take leaders through that. And I also look at leaders' lives holistically, as in rest, your spiritual, your health, your wealth, and other aspects of who you are. Because if you don't look at yourself as a leader holistically, yes, you will definitely collapse, because then you can do the work, but if your health is not carrying you through, then you've got a challenge. So
What
you
are
need to
the
look at yourself holistically as a leader. Yes,
Thank you
just you.
very much. Let's look at the advantage and disadvantage of women in leadership. Is there any advantage on it? Is there any disadvantage on this?
Yeah. The advantage of a woman in leadership is that women can actually lead, and when women are leading, women are looking at different aspects of life, not only the work part, but also the home part. And women are also understanding. Women are natural nurturers, so they will be able to nurture you as an employee. Women also are critical thinkers and problem solvers, they will be able to assist in terms of problem solving. In terms of the disadvantages, what are the disadvantages? I wouldn't actually call them disadvantages of women being in leadership. What I can say is that maybe no, not a disadvantage, but I can say that there are some of the things that society needs to be aware of or be able to allow women to lead. For instance, as we said, pregnancy. When somebody goes on maternity leave, I don't think that the organization needs to be calling that person, whether in terms of work or whatever. They need to give that person the space to continue and enjoy their baby. And maybe also we need even more time in terms of, maternity leave as women. If you look at some of the hindrances, not a disadvantage of women being in leadership, is that as women, we need to accept ourselves for who we are. I remember I had another interview whereby I was delivering a speech, and my daughter did not have anybody. I've got a 2-year-old daughter. My 2-year-old daughter did not have somebody to take care of. I took her to the interview. Yes, it was an online one, but I need to be embraced for who we are, for who I am as a woman. So as women, yes, we need to be embraced. And that is not a disadvantage, is that it's just that the society needs to take us holistically. The other thing is that in Africa, the pay scale needs to be increased for women. We cannot be working in the same level as men and we are getting less amount. No. And as much as maybe research or other people can say that physically men are stronger than women, and I don't even want to go to that statement, but what I can say is that there is something that men can never be able to do. They will never be able to carry a child or baby. So as women, actually, we are able to do more than what men can do.
So you agree with this sentiment that what man can do, a woman can do better. Is that what you say?
Yes, that's true. That's
All
very
right.
true.
Okay, let's look at this, because this is one of the things I mean, behind the scene, I've gone through so many space to ask questions and stuff like that, to do some background check and stuff like that. So people say that one of the challenges and disadvantages of putting women in leadership is pride or proud or arrogancy. That some women are so arrogant to the extent that when they put them in the front row, the shoulder comes up and they start talking to everybody anyhow. Is that a sentiment or is it a reality?
Interesting. For the women that have helped, when you dig deeper, you realize that is just the front. That's not who they are. And sometimes for women who becomes assertive and assert themselves and say what they want, that is normally named arrogance if it's a woman. But if it's a man who's doing exactly the same thing, that will be assertiveness. But I would encourage us as women as well not to build those shells, because sometimes we are hurt so much in the workspace. We need healing before we can actually go forward. So sometimes, yes, women would put that shell just to protect themselves. But if you see somebody like that, I think for me, I think personally, if I see something like that, I would be able to approach a person. And in my organization, what we do is that we start by peeling the layers, especially for women who are protecting themselves in the workspace, but without really being themselves. And one of the things that I would do is that I would do, for instance, if the person allows a 360 degrees feedback, to get feedback from their subordinates, to get feedback from their peers, and to get feedback from the people that they report to. And then that's where we'll start and see how we can help that woman leader to be a better leader. Because for me, as a woman leader, you need to inspire other people. You need to see the potential in other people. And for me, if I am able to ignite the light, if I am able to encourage somebody and touch that person to be a better person, I know that my work is done. And I believe that majority of women leaders would want to do that.
Rebecca, if you become president of South Africa, what are you going to do differently?
Wow. So many, many things. What I will do differently is that I will remove now people who are in leadership, I will remove everybody and people will need to apply for their jobs. And there are a couple of things that I will look at. I would look at outcomes, yes, because we need the results in the country. I will look at mindset as well, where that particular person is. And I would also look at the core of who they are, their values. Because if you understand somebody else's value, you would understand how they would actually engage with other people. And then other things will actually fall into place, because I believe that in terms of work, you can teach people, other work, but there are certain things that you cannot teach them, like values, for instance.
Why leaders fail?
That's definitely what I'll do.
Why leaders fail?
Leaders fail because sometimes they don't have a vision. Or if they have a vision, they do not pull up the people that they want to achieve that vision with. Leaders also fail because they believe that they can do it alone. As a leader, you cannot do it alone. You need people for that success. Leaders also fail because they also think that people cannot do it. And if you believe in the goodness of people, if you believe in empowering other people, I mean, even in terms of leadership, if you've got people that know better than you, that is okay. You can lead those people. So as leaders, we need to believe in people and ensure that we water those seeds, we water that potential so that people can be a better version for themselves. Because then if we've got better people surrounding us, if we've got better people that wants to improve themselves all the time, then we can have a better world.
Wow, Sibia, it's a great time having you in this studio. The time is not on our side, and I still have a lot of things, but I'm still bringing you back. And I'm so excited that out of your busy schedule, you give us this time to be here at this time. I really appreciate it. I know it's very late here in South Africa, but thank you very much, and I really appreciate it. I will definitely join you on Tuesday to also follow up with your program, and I believe that when I invite you again, you will be happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for allowing me to be here. Yes, please join us. Heartfelt Effects, goal setting. Let us see where we can actually help you. And remember, you are powerful beyond measure. Go out there, fulfill your calling. Go out there, learn through your journey, your personal journey, and go out there and be consistent. Believe in yourself, because God has created only you. There's only one of you. Nobody is exactly the same as you. And I know you can do it. Thank you.
Wow. What a lovely quote there. Thank you very much, Sibia. I really appreciate it, Rebecca Sibia. This is a great woman of our time. And I want to say thank you to everyone in the studio in Canada and to everyone in the studio in South Africa. Thank you very much. I will see you again, same time on same station next week, same time. See you again. God bless you. Up to you in the studio. To Rebecca, thank you very much for coming, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marketing advertisements with Afromedia, the best choice. You can count on Afromedia for your commercials. In international languages, Afromedia broadcasts. There are a number of platforms